I'd like to welcome both parents and students to our work experience launch evening. Tonight, I wanted to just talk about obviously the whole process of getting organised for our work experience. Every single student in Year 10 is given this opportunity, and we are hoping to go out Monday, the 11th of March for 5 days on work experience. Now, this year is the first year that we've launched it for quite some time, and we're asking students to self-place, which means finding themselves a self-placement for work experience, agreeing all the information with the employer, completing the relevant paperwork so then that placement can go ahead. Work experience is a chance to meet new people, to find out more about the industry that you've chosen to work in, to experience travelling to and from the workplace, to exercise more self-discipline and taking responsibility, to improve your self-confidence and to improve the social skills, to learn the importance of punctuality and to gain transferable skills that will benefit our students and sons and daughters in the future, whether that's going on to further education, higher education, or into the world of work. Why go on work experience? So we want our students to understand that the everyday realities of working life, and also to sample what career they might want to do in the future, and also to make themselves more employable. And the fact that they can then obviously share that information, say in the future, if they're looking for part-time work or full-time work or apprenticeships, that they can relate back to the work experience opportunity that they've had in Year 10. It's an opportunity to work maybe in an adult work environment, to work with people of all different age groups, and to also learn a heck of a lot about themselves and develop that self-confidence and belief. To take charge of their own future by finding themselves a placement and to enhance their understanding of the world of work and the expectations, but also for students to be more likely would be more employable as they have got that work experience and hopefully gain a really positive reference for the future. Throughout their time in school, students are constantly being spoken to about transferable skills, whether that be in the lessons, whether that be in extracurricular activities, whether they are taking part in trips outside of school. We talk about these transferable skills and how they are related to the employability skills that are needed by employers. They're looking at developing their self-management by going out and finding that placement and taking that responsibility of being where they need to be at a certain time, for example, and the tasks that they're going to be given during work experience, improving students' communication skills, especially verbal communication skills. We know they can be quite a whiz on social media, but we want them to be communicating verbally to people, not necessarily that are in the friendship groups or family. And it is a little bit nerve-wracking and a bit daunting for them, but these are the skills that they are going to need for the future. Looking at obviously team building, problem solving, time management, motivation, adaptability, and their organisational skills as well. And decision making. So over the next year, going into Year 11 is a really important time, whether they're going to make that decision about the post-16 options, whether that be further education or an apprenticeship, and then further going on to higher education and full-time employment. So the term self-placement is where students are going to be actively going out, speaking to employers and securing themselves a one-week work placement. This is the process and the timeline that we're trying to follow. So students will launch this at the 15th of December on Personal Development Day, where we talked about the expectations of work experience and how to try and find a self-placement. So between now and the time that they go out on placement, they might look at putting a letter together, they might look at emailing out to employers. We wanted to do the information evening for parents and guardians and as well as students, just so that you're aware, or everybody is aware of the work experience to support the students to find that self-placement. The information packs are all being handed out to students now, so they've got that information that they can get completed from an employer, and that must be returned by the 19th of February. By the end of February, we want to have all of the paperwork in, have a bit of a final assembly, and that we've got a self-placement for every single student in Year 10, and then they are ready to go out into the world of work on the 11th of March for the full week. And then once they return back into school, we're going to share that reflection about the placement, share each other's experiences, and also look through the evaluations that we receive back from the employers. Before students go out into the workplace, they'll be given a preparation and work booklet. This is really key to make sure that they are ready to go into that workplace, that they are aware of the expectations, and they are aware about the organisation that they're going to be working for, including times, for example, on like lunch breaks, and also what time they're expected to be there at work. And it also covers health and safety induction for them to complete with their employer on their first day in the workplace. We're asking parents to please support the students to complete these before they are going out into the workplace, as well as they'll be given time in school to do this as well. During this booklet, when they are in work placement, at the end of every day, they'll reflect on their day and do a little bit of an evaluation about what they've been doing throughout that day, what skills they've been developing, and anything that they feel that they could improve. And at the end of the placement, the student will do a reflection, and the employer will also do an evaluation, which will be shared with both students and parents. How to find your own work placement. So on Personal Development Day in December, we discussed with them about putting a letter together, which they could also then obviously put into an email. They can go in to an organisation and ask to speak to the employer or a member of staff who organises work experience within their company. We are asking parents to really support. We've said about asking family and friends and people that you may know if they could take that student on a work placement. Students might send out letters, they might hand out the letters, and put a plan together maybe of like a list of organisations and companies that they would like to go to for work placements, and also ringing companies to see if they can arrange that themselves. If students are struggling a little bit to find a placement, there is support in school. So if they ask for myself, Mrs. Ross, then we can help them ring some of the organisations and see if we can support to put that all the agreements and everything in place. For students to go out into the workplace, we need the self-placement form completing by parents, employers and the student, also a medical consent form, and we'd also need a copy of the employer's liability insurance certificate. If this paperwork isn't brought in, unfortunately the placement cannot go ahead. It has to be agreed by everybody and agreed within the school. And then from that, the employer will be contacted by myself just to confirm the details before the student goes out into work placement. I've put together a checklist just to support parents and students so that they've got all the information that they need. So we need parents to have read through a Parent's Guide to Work Experience. The self-placement form needs completing by the student, the parent and the employer, and then a copy of the employer's liability insurance. This all must be back at school by the 19th of February, and also a copy of the medical form returned to school as well. If anybody's got any queries, please contact myself. All my information is in the Parent's Guide to Work Experience. Students are aware when I'm in school that they can also come in if they do require any support. And I'm really looking forward to seeing them all out in the workplace. I know the students are as well. And it's going to be an amazing opportunity for them to develop the skills further, and hopefully it's very successful.